Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool.
So cool.
I see Cool Boys.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation, and welcome to an accidental installment of the Cool Boys Podcast. I am Felk.
And I'm Ballard. So cool.
So what's everyone drinking? I am drinking Diet Dr. Pepper because
Ooh.
it's sober October still.
It's not. It's November, Felk. What are you talking about? We just had our October month, and you finished it off with a nice cider.
Sober November. No, what are we like pretending that this podcast is somehow live to air? That like
It's live
the day
to
it
air,
comes
baby,
out is
every
also
time.
the day it records.
As soon as we are live right now on Podcast Air.
The Cool Boys are live, broadcasting through iTunes.
Broadcasting live through iTunes right now. Of course, absolutely.
or Android podcast app store. We don't want to be partisan towards the non.
I am absolutely partisan. iTunes. iTunes. No Google Play, even though we're on Google Play. I don't really care for that. SoundCloud's cool. I like SoundCloud.
We're on Google Play.
I know, but I don't really listen to Google Play or I even know what the hell that is, to be honest.
You know, I'm having like the existential I don't know that I want to buy another iPhone. Like it's time for a new phone. It's been 2 years, but
What?
I know I'm considering
You said this a few episodes ago.
Samsung Galaxy Note 3.
Yeah, that you were thinking of leaving the tribe, and Felk, I can't welcome you back if you leave.
I'm gonna be green in our text messages.
Fuck that shit. No way. Are you kidding me? Fuck that shit. You're gonna destroy the whole cool boy message thread that created this podcast.
I know. Oh yeah, that's true. I can't name it anymore. Yeah, so I'm drinking just Diet Dr. Pepper. Ballard, what are you drinking?
I am drinking because it is live to tape tonight, and I'm drinking because it's November 6th, Election Day. Remember to vote, Cool Boy Nation. I am drinking a Sierra Nevada Tumbler Autumn Brown Ale. Autumn, like the month of November. And it's kind of nutty. It's good.
And Nolan died.
Nolan
of
died
AIDS.
again of AIDS. Yeah.
Again. He'll be back next week probably.
Fucking AIDS, man. It's such a devious fucking syndrome.
Once the AIDS wears off just a little bit, he'll take a title. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. Like, AIDS is a serious thing that has killed a lot of people.
No, I love it. Once the AIDS... No, you were right. When the AIDS wears off, Nolan will come back when he's alive again. Clap your hands. Make him alive.
I'm kind of tired of being I'll clap, but I'm tired of being complicit in Nolan's weird conspiracy that AIDS is like overrated or overblown and perhaps not that big a deal. Like,
is it weird that Nolan is the alt-right member of our Cool Boy podcast?
And he doesn't realize it?
He doesn't realize it?
It's like, I'm the progressive one, you know. I don't like Trump. And like five fucking seconds later, oh, that shit's gay. What is that gay shit? I don't. That said,
well, let's get into some updates before we get into our show topic tonight, Felk.
This is some real news. Spielberg and J.J. Abrams optioned a book based on a Syrian refugee.
For miniseries?
For a movie.
Okay.
Gonna be a really tense true life tale, and they paid Lena Dunham to write the screenplay.
Just so you know, there is no way her screenplay is making it like, you know, from pen to film to celluloid. Like, there's no way. There will be another screenwriter hired at some point, whether it's during shooting or for the reshoots, that will have to do some kind of, like, you know, fixes to the random hipster girl references in the middle of the movie.
Even before the backlash, the backlash has been mostly from, obviously, the progressives who are like, why is this white girl writing about Syrian refugees? You don't know nothing about that. But even before the backlash, I have to assume that, yes, that was probably just that's standard Hollywood. Hire 4 screenwriters, pick the screenplay you like, maybe give her a shot because she's friends or whatever. It was probably an under the table kind of friendship deal. But they never should have let that go public, and they never should have realistically given her that project to begin with.
No, that does, and it seems like it's a little bit ill-fitted, not only in the sense of it's given to her, but she's known for being so coarse. So it doesn't seem to make the most sense to handle such a sensitive topic and subject matter.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like, hey, you want a movie on Nigeria and all the shit going on in the Congo? Here's Eddie Murphy writing the script.
I'd actually really like to see that movie.
I would love to see an Eddie Murphy script about like the fucking Congo and all the shit going on in the dark forests and jungles of Congo. Amy, want teardrop drink.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Congo to know if Eddie Murphy would be a good fit there. It feels like a Don Cheadle.
I guess they got Ernie Hudson.
Well, do you have any updates?
Yeah, actually, I have an update. So,
What?
My wife got into a car crash, a pretty good one, but she is perfectly fine. Everything's good. She's just
Most people see bad ones, right?
what?
You mean a pretty bad one?
Yeah, like a pretty bad one. Like the car's totaled.
Yeah.
But my wife is okay, so I mean she's absolutely okay. We spent the day in the hospital, double checking, making sure, speaking with doctors and reviewing and whatnot, and being overly cautious. So she's totally cool.
That's what's important.
She's absolutely sore and whatnot. But it made me think like how shitty car crashes are and having to deal with fucking car crashes all the time, and like how they're not only like, in this situation, a financial stress, but also like, now it's like a medical stress because you have to like waste your whole day in a doctor's office. And now you have to deal with insurances on the phone and all that shit. And it was kind of frustrating too, because I don't want to name our insurance company, but like I really like them. I got into a car crash a long time ago. I can get into that in a second. It really I wasn't even in the car. It was parked. I ended up getting like just completely bulldozered over by this insurance company. So I had a different insurance company at the time, and this lady, my car's parked, and this is back when I'm in college, and this lady pulls up into the spot next to me and just hits my car. And she has a blue car and I have a white car, and she just leaves blue paint all up and down the side of my car. And it's like clearly her. So I call the cops essentially to come on over and do a police report so I can file it with my insurance because this happened when I wasn't around, so it's technically a hit and run. And the woman shows up and sees the cops there, and so she immediately starts screaming at me. This is back when I'm in college again.
Yep.
So she starts screaming at me, and the officers are like, this one lady officer just tells me essentially to like, sir, just go stand over there. She's, acting out of control. She's hysterical.
Yeah.
And she is. She's literally hysterical. And so the officer, she starts, measuring, the marks on my car, and then measures her bumper and sees those white marks on her car that are obviously from my car. And she puts this all in the police report. And meanwhile, the woman is screaming at me and like charging at me and trying to hit me. And this is my neighbor, like in the same building neighbor, like literally the exact same building. My uncle and aunt own this apartment complex, and this woman, and I live in it, and this woman who pays them rent is attacking their nephew, doesn't realize it though, and essentially for her hitting my car. So a male officer shows up, and he starts telling me and like being really aggressive to me and being like, back up sir, and each time he does it, my hands are up in the air and I'm like, I'm backing up. And this woman, this is circa 2004 2005 roughly, Felk.
Okay.
And so this woman is just screaming at me nonstop. They eventually deal with her. They file a police report that shows that she clearly hit my car with like all the measurements and everything and the paint colors and everything written out as clear as day. I get this report. I hand it to my insurance company, and I'm like, here you go. It should be a closed case situation. Well, the other insurance company, this woman's insurance company, okay, I'll just say it for you, Felk, but I can't say it on air. You can just redact this. You can just beep it out or redact it.
That's all I have.
Okay, so her insurance company was that. And so pretty much my insurance company like just rolls over and plays dead.
Yeah,
and I
that's why I have
contact
them.
my insurance company and I'm like, why are you doing nothing? You have a police report on your end and you are not like fighting this at all. She's skating on this. She's walking free. And she clearly hit my car. Why won't you do anything? And this is what my claim agent actually said to me. She's with name redacted.
Yeah.
And we will not fight them.
Yep, that's why I have them, dude.
So I said, "Are you serious?" And the woman on the phone said, "Yes." That's legit. And I said, okay, you can cancel my insurance right now. And she's like, okay, I'll have to put you through to, whatever, to another line. And I'm like, then put me through that other line, and I'm canceling my insurance right now. And I canceled my insurance right then and there, and I called up Name Redacted immediately, and I said, Name Redacted, I want to be a part of you, because you know what? My guy just rolled over and let you fucking like come all over his belly because you fucking just exist by name alone, recognition alone. They walked away from you. Even though I had a police report proving my case and showing this woman hit my car, they literally just walked away because of your name recognition. And they were like flattered. And they were like, absolutely, why don't you come over here? You can come on our bellies anytime you want. And it was fucking awesome. And I've been with them ever since. And they are amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing until today.
Uh-oh.
So this is where my story leads. Today, I am on the phone with Name Redacted with a fucking bitch of a fucking like agent. And she is just being so rude to my wife. My wife, who just was in an accident, who's standing in essentially to the side of an intersection with an intersection that's going onto the freeway, like an on-ramp part intersection, and she's standing there with officers and firefighters, and she's like, and this old woman too that hit her. They're both just kind of standing there, and trying to manage the fact that she was in a car accident, and like a pretty big one, and like this woman is asking my wife like, well, giving her the runaround, essentially being like, well, can you tell me how the other woman's injuries and I'm like standing next to my wife. I was not in the accident, just to be clear. My wife called me. I was just down the road and I drove over right away to check on her and make sure everything was okay. And the woman on the phone is asking my wife apparently if she can tell her the old lady's injuries. And I immediately overhear that. And I look at my wife and I'm like, don't answer that. Do not answer for that woman. You should not. You're not a doctor. You're not a licensed physician of any sort.
That's weird.
Do not provide information medically. The only thing you could say is that, she's standing, and would you like to talk to a firefighter? I can hand the phone over to a firefighter or a paramedic. You know what I mean? But don't answer for that. So that was weird. So that was my first tip off. This woman's acting a little weird right now to my wife. And my wife is, dealing with the mindset of someone in shock, right? Adrenaline's pumping. So eventually, we're asking, what can we do with the car? We are being told by the officers that we need to get the car off of the road. So the tow truck driver's there. He's just sitting around waiting for the agent to figure out where to put the car. We can have the car either towed to a body shop, or we can have the car towed to the tow yard, or back to our house. We didn't want to tow it back to our house because we obviously want the car either immediately marked off as total and we can move on from it, or we want to actually get it to an auto body shop to get it fixed. We don't want this thing sitting around in our driveway.
Yeah.
So that being said, my wife's asking, like, what can we do with this? And the woman keeps telling her, don't take it to the tow yard because it'll cost too much. And I'm thinking to myself, what? It's covered. And I'm talking to the tow truck driver. I'm like, this is covered, right? And he's like, yeah, it's absolutely covered. I forget what the term is. It's full coverage, I think. Yeah, so we had full coverage, not liability only. And so it's like it's fully covered. So this is a huge, like, faux pas by this agent, because it feels like she's just kind of like not really taking into account the situation that someone is literally in an intersection, that someone has literally just suffered an accident. So I grabbed the phone. This is after my wife being on the phone for over 45 minutes with this woman just to file a claim and figure out where to drop the car off. And I just grabbed the phone, and I'm just like, actually, I first asked my wife, I was like, can I talk to her? And she says yes. And she hands me the phone. I grab the phone, and I'm just like, excuse me, what's your name? And she's just like, name redacted. And I'm just like, I don't know if you're really quite aware of the situation here, but my wife was literally just in an accident, just only maybe 45 minutes ago now. Yeah. She's in the intersection with officers asking if they can move the car, with firefighters asking if we can move the car so they can open up a freeway lane, or open up a freeway on-ramp again. And all she wants to know is where we can drop the car off, and you are not giving her an answer. I would love it if you could please understand that somebody that you're talking to might need a little bit more of haste and a little bit more, of a need of urgency here in this emergency situation. She needs to go see a doctor right now too, so we can make sure that she has a clean bill of health, that she's not suffering from any concussions, and and on top of that, there are a few abrasions and chemical burns that need to be dealt with. So it's like, can we move on, lady? And she literally says to me, sir, you can take the car wherever you want. It's up to you. Click, and then hangs up on me. I'm in the middle of helping out somebody dealing with the situation. She's being difficult for fucking almost 45 minutes to an hour at this point, and I get on that phone and she hangs up on me. I was so fucking pissed, but I actually had to do shit and deal with things and talk to people and help out. So I could not just fucking lose my cool, but boy howdy, I wanted to hop right back on that phone call and just talk to that manager. Well, I didn't. And I let my wife handle the next phone call, and I just told her, talk to the next person. I just don't want to deal with it. I'm a little too hot. And she did, and everything's being, handled, it seems like, and worked out. But, like, this happened, like, literally hours ago. So, I mean, fucking it's always hell, and this is what I'm going to get to deal with for the next month, is trying to figure out whether a car's been totaled or not, whether medical bills or not are covered by this other person's insurance. Is this other person's, actually in fault? Yes, they definitely are. They were taking an unprotected left and crossed traffic while the traffic was approaching them, A, being my wife, and got hit. And they ended up, T-boning it, and that's the unfortunate situation. So it sucks, but that's been my day. That's my update, Felk.
Yeah, that was a emotional and evocative story. First off, I am shocked that you didn't just say, connect me with someone else. Because that's what.
Well, I finished. I pretty much had enough time just to finish my rant, and that person hung up on me. It was like literally that quick. But I did tell my wife when she called back. I said, just when you call back, just immediately say I need to speak with a manager, and then tell them exactly what occurred. The
6 best words in the English language. May I speak to your manager?
It absolutely makes anybody's butthole pucker up just immediately. You're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, immediately they shut down, but they know that now they have to get the manager. And rarely does the manager take the side of the employee. That's horrible. Obviously, the good news is that the worst thing you have to say about it is terrible customer service from your insurance.
Yeah.
No one was hurt. Cars can be replaced. Now you can buy a Miata.
No. We're probably going to get a hybrid of some sort just for the sake of it because, 12 years left to do anything.
12 years left to do what?
To do anything.
to save the environment?
Yeah. We got 12 years.
If you care about the environment, buy a pre-existing used car that runs on gasoline. That's better for the environment than having somebody create a new hybrid.
Honestly, if it's better for the environment, it would be, why don't we just get a bicycle?
Exactly.
And just bike from this point on.
Or just Uber and have pre-existing cars that are already on the road take you there rather than creating them. Because those battery packs, nobody knows how long battery packs take to go away. What impact creating them has in the environment, the rare earth minerals or elements they have to mine and all that shit.
Launch them into space.
That might be Elon Musk's unemployed rich person. Elon Musk's plan.
He's not unemployed. He's just no longer on the board, right?
You know what his official title is?
No, what is it?
He's self-styled. I mean, this may have been a joke, but I believe he claims it as his official title is the nothing of Tesla.
I love it. Oh, that sounds like him. I mean, think about it. He's not a flamethrower, and like all the type of shit he does, putting a spaceman or whatever in the Tesla Roadster. Like, yeah, what's his name again?
The nothing of Tesla, I think is the
title. Nothing of Tesla. That's awesome.
Whatever you do, don't buy a Tesla.
Is that a never-ending story reference, you think, or no?
No, it's the fact that he has no official capacity or job at Tesla. He just owns most of their company, and
I know that, but I was wondering if there's like a double entendre in the sense, or triple entendre in the sense that it's never-ending story related.
I don't think so. Although I certainly wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not getting a Tesla, Felk. I'm not getting a Tesla.
Well, it's not. You said a hybrid, and Teslas obviously are not hybrids. They are, however, very, very bad for the environment. Much worse than simply buying a pre-existing used car that runs on gasoline.
That might be the other thing we do too. Realistically, is just total out this other car. I mean, oh my god, it was a Volvo, and I love Volvos, but it might be just total it out and get a used Subaru, something like that.
There you go. Nice.
Lesbian car.
Yeah, exactly. I was tiptoeing around how to say the car, 6 million lesbians or however many lesbians own Subarus worldwide, probably in the millions. Can't be wrong.
I love lesbians. They're the best.
Well, I mean, the Subarus are not bad cars.
They're not. And I've actually have a lot of good friends who are lesbians, so.
It's a weird episode. Obviously, we don't have Nolan, and this thing happened to you, and obviously we needed to... I wanted to hear you tell that story. I wanted you to be able to get it off your chest. I think it makes for interesting podcast topics because not a lot of podcasts talk about car accidents and how they affect you personally. I've had my fair share of car accidents, and this is weird because basically when you texted me when all this happened earlier in the day in this month of November. That this happened. I was like I kind of got the impression that you wanted to talk about it on the podcast, and then knowing that we didn't have Nolan, I was just like putting two and two together. I realized that all of my stories about car accidents kind of have like a not a right wing, but maybe just an almost like pro-Trump.
Wait, you have political car accidents?
I have political car accidents. All my car accidents, in fact, have a bent towards the modern like right wing or
I like how you said
viewpoint.
Modern, by the way.
Not
that
alt, obviously.
No, but modern's also a differential from like what you would consider Lincoln era would be like for.
Well, there's rhinos, there's neoconservatives, there's the alt-right, there's all kinds of versions of conservative right now. I am a libertarian. I am an atheist, objectivist, libertarian. Those are the three things I'll define myself as. Those are the only ists or isms I'll allow. I believe in personal liberty.
And I'm an agnostic ballard.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But I can talk about this stuff because this is an episode that A, I'm editing, and B...
You know people hate agnostic more than they hate atheist?
Yeah, because make up your mind. I mean, I'm technically...
it's like, what the fuck's your problem?
I'm technically more agnostic than I am atheist because I used to say atheist when I lived in Texas to piss off people, but then when I came to LA, I realized that like...
That's the norm?
Not only is that the norm, but it's not going to get a rise out of anybody.
Nope.
And then they're like, "Oh, cool. So you're cool with socialism?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a fucking libertarian." So they couldn't explain it. I mean, I only started calling myself a libertarian in California because I was tired of defending viewpoints that I don't. When I said I'm a Goldwater Republican, because nobody knows who fucking Barry Goldwater is in California. What presidency ran for it first? Oh,
who?
And I was like, so why you hate gay marriage? And I'm like, actually, I'm a Goldwater Republican. Barry Goldwater was the first Republican to mention the words gay and our first presidential candidate to mention the words gay and rights together. And he was a Republican, technically. He wasn't really. It was before Reagan and the Christian conservatives and everything. But yeah, so basically, all my car accidents have reinforced my worldview.
Yeah, okay. I would love to know why, but you know what? I think I would like to know more. I'd like to know your first car accident. What was your first car accident? Like, not... it could... I guess I was going to say not a fender bender, but you know what? If your first car accident was a fender bender, fuck it. Well, whatever it was, what was it? Did you write down notes?
No, I'm just doing this off the fly.
Okay, me too. I have nothing written down.
No, I'm not writing anything down. First accident I was in driving the car, not driving the car, like that I experienced memorable. I would have been like 8, and it was my mom driving, and of course she was 8-ish, maybe 10-ish. She was driving. We were driving in just running errands. She was driving the car in a Mercedes Benz, driving through a predominantly
like the country song.
Predominantly Hispanic neighborhood and
upscale. Upscale though, right?
No. Down.
Oh no, lower class.
Lower class. It was
Okay.
it was a shortcut to get like to a mall going through. I think like the need.
Color the drawing
area.
for me. Just keep coloring that drawing.
Yeah, and it was lower income. Anyways, there was a knowing now what I know now, but it might have been my mom's fault for all I know. But it was a 4-way stop, two stop signs, collision.
Wow.
The person involved was also of that.
Ilk.
Latin X.
Yeah, you better get that right.
Ilk in that area, and it was just like, okay, like she was like, yeah, your fault, like I'm not gonna do an accent, I'm not gonna do a racist accent. She was like basically attributing responsibility to my mom, who's just like, we exchange information, we exchange phone numbers, and then we drive away. I'm no less than like 30 people came out, just like watching from like the rooftops and the buildings, like a fucking scene from the Warriors or something, like
Wow.
ready to pounce. And they and sure enough, you know,
Wait, what do you mean, like rakes in hands and batons in hands and shit, or what?
probably more like Modelo's or
Modelo bottles?
yeah. But realistically, yeah. So police showed up. I don't think we called them, and we're like, "Hey, what's going on here? Accident." Basically, 30 witnesses who were not there manifested to attribute fault, to attribute like trying to leave. It was a community. Suddenly, they saw a Mercedes. They saw, let's get some cash, and it was just a matter of like, just pounce on the affluent car that was damaged. I don't know how else to see this experience, but it taught me a lot about not any culture. All cultures do this, but it taught a lot to me about opportunistic natures in humans. It definitely informed my opinions on people trying to take advantage, willingness to lie to support.
How old were you again?
8.
Okay, so about probably 6 or 8, I saw the movie Oliver Twist.
Oh, okay.
And same thing. Like it did it with white British people, but it did the same thing. Like it informed me on opportunistic nature, especially when it comes to people, in low income. And the way to cut corners in the reality, as Aladdin says, one step ahead of the lawman.
It was the first time I'd ever seen, because I was in the car, like car's locked, I'm in the car, do not approach the car, son is in the car. My mom was like mama cat, fierce, because while we weren't necessarily being threatened, it was being made pretty clear that if fleeing were to occur, if we were to leave, having only done what is legally required, of course, which is, exchanging driver's license information and insurance information. She wanted to do that. Like, here's my information. Here, take it. And then go, because a lot of people are here looking and just observing. And it's just like, had the police not showed up?
Wait, do you mean like the end of training day?
Kind of. I mean, it seemed like they wanted cash. It seemed like they wanted something immediate. Like that insurance wasn't what they wanted. They wanted some kind of immediate,
like
restitution.
an immediate handout.
An immediate financial handout, which is why the police probably were just patrolling by and saw like, okay, something's up here, and checked it out.
Oh shit! Cops rolled up
and checked it out, and of course, all that was exchanged was what's supposed to be insurance information. You're required by law to have insurance in It's in Texas and in California. And I'm not sure if the other person had it. So, it wasn't like that exchange was not good enough. They wanted immediate financial restitution. And there was intimidation going on there.
How much did you pick up on that? How much of that did you kind of maybe adjust the story later in your head? Kind of like, oh, maybe that's what intimidation was. Like, you know what I mean? Like that night in bed, did you think about it as like, oh shit? Or did you feel in the moment the as I would imagine any intimidation would feel, the risk, the threat?
Most of this is being remembered more from my mom's retelling of this when I was in college, when I was able to appreciate what was really going down there. My memories of it were more vague, like something's up here. Mom looks worried, because this is obviously before we didn't have a cell phone. That kind of scenario was a little bit more
way different,
frightening in the days before you could just pull out a phone and go, I'm on Instagram right now broadcasting this message.
Yeah, I'm Facebook living this, don't do nothing. No, absolutely. There was a true wirelessness feel to everything, because you didn't have any. My dad had cell phones practically from the get-go, so I always had cell phones in my life, but my mom didn't. I remember one time at McDonald's, there was my little brother and myself, but my mom was getting us into the car after getting our meals, our Happy Meals, and there was a homeless guy approaching her, and I was young and I don't remember whatever was said or exchanged or whatever, but I do remember my mom got real nervous and real panicky, into the sense where she was she kind of shuffled my little brother and I into the car as fast as she could. And then she hopped in the car, and the homeless man came to the window, and my mom yelled at him a bit, and he yelled, and I don't recall what was really said, and we drove off. But I do remember the drive home, because the entire drive home, my mom was yelling at us, like she would do, and be like, "You boys need to listen to me when I say get in the car, it means get in the car. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna, who's gonna do what kind of dangerous thing could occur." And so all I can actually like extract is that I know that my mom was crazy nervous. But maybe she would have been nervous regardless in that situation.
No, I mean, now you have kids, you know that instinct is probably like the most like powerful drug that ever can go through your brain. Just that instinct to protect the kids.
Yeah, when you sense something's up,
even if it's not like a legit danger, even if you're, to quote Batman, even if it's a 1% possibility, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
The best Batman, Ben Batman.
I mean, granted that's a weird like reference to Donald Rumsfeld, I think, but it's definitely true when it comes to like how parents protect their kids. And I saw that when I was younger. Is that a reference to
Donald Rumsfeld, or is that just kind of a reference to a
maybe it was
thought
Cheney.
Process after 9/11?
Yeah,
because Rumsfeld was more about unknown unknowns.
No,
either
Cheney or Rumsfeld said that like if it's a 1% possibility, you have to take it as an absolute certainty. To tie it in with how I introduced it, it's just kind of like on a cultural level, I realized that other cultures have a more aggressive sense of community, in the sense that they will come together, even if maybe what they're coming together for is not the most moral or righteous thing in this case. It was definitely a opportunistic kind of scenario.
Well, what was your first accident? Well, you know what? Here, I'll tell you mine. I'll tell you my first accident. I was not the driver of, and I was a little child. It was again my mother and my little brother. But it was about the same age actually. My mom was getting us ready for school. We were in the driveway, and she threw us in the back seat as always. My mom had a Mustang, like I don't remember, 90 Mustang, 89 Mustang, something like that. Go back to the Cars episode, Cool Boys, and get more information on my mom's Mustang. I don't recall if it's even in the episode.
Oh yeah, you said Fox body.
But yeah, it was box body, yeah. And convertible, red body, white top, and
great cars,
and red interior. And so, anyways, my mom is getting in the car, and as she's getting in the car, the e-brake just pops off, and the car just starts rolling backwards. And we're in the car, my little brother and I, buckled in. And my mom gets I watch her just get dragged by the car for maybe about 3 to 4 feet before she just gets sucked under the car. And then I don't see my mom anymore. She's gone. And I turn around in my seat and look over behind me, through the rear window, and I just see the neighbor's front yard just approach fast. And my little brother and I are just both watching this, just like watching the movie play in front of us as the car just rolls right into the bushes in our neighbor's front yard. And then my mom hobbles over to us and gets in the car, and she makes, double checks we're okay and everything. But my mom's foot's all fucked up. And so she got broken or something, like rolled over by the car and everything, and twisted and whatnot. So she ends up having to go get her foot fixed and whatnot. And that day, but that was the first accident, the first time I was in a car. And then my mom started telling us, and my dad also started telling us stories and recanting, their own episodes of their first accidents, and hearing more fucked up shit, and just thinking like, wow, that was tame compared to like my mom's. I think one of her first accidents was rolling down the hill, like a car in a mudslide, things like that. And so I was just like, wow, like, I guess I got off pretty smooth. I just crossed the street and went into someone else's yard in a Mustang. So that was my very first accident that I was at least a part of in some form or fashion.
Yeah, well, sorry about your mom's foot. Other than that, it sounds like the worst was avoided due to quick thinking.
Yeah.
And reactions.
And just hanging out in the back seat and staring at the neighbor's yard approach. There's nothing literally my little brother and I could do. We were just sitting there just like, okay, wow, here we go.
Could have gone for the handbrake.
No, I just enjoyed it. I just soaked it all in. And I was young. Yeah. I was young enough to like not even know what to do. Like I was just like, okay, we're sitting in the seats and we're going to turn around and see what happens. But yeah, that was my first accident. That I was in a car when the car and something happened. But what was your first accident as a driver?
First accident as a driver was 16. I want to give a shout out to my gay hairstylist Mark.
Mark.
I drove 22 miles all the way into Houston to
hi,
get a
Mark.
haircut every other week when I was like 15 to like 18.
What a story,
What a story, I'm like driving back to the suburbs of Houston from deep in the city, the Galleria area. Driving in my Miata. I was 16. I was at an all-boys high school. Not a lot of interactions with the ladies at this age. Women were a mystery.
At 16?
This is on a Saturday. I was 16.
But wait, you
I
in
went to an
other
all-boy-
episodes you've told at the age of 6 you're masturbating or whatever.
Yeah.
But women were a mystery?
Not to women in I was masturbating to like fucking like Tiffany Amber Thiessen on the fucking episode of Saved by the Bell.
I thought you said you saw some chick's tits in the back seat and you had to go home and rush home and masturbate.
That was no. You talking about the Alamo?
Yeah, how old were you for that?
That was when I was still at a boy-girls Catholic school. I would have been 13, going through all that big mouth puberty, where you're just about to explode at any second.
Did you like Big Mouth in the end?
Oh no, I did not. I think that show is structurally a mess. How many fucking characters that are imaginary does one show need?
Yeah, the first season is like only 2, but then second season it's a whole headquarters, it's a whole corporation of them.
I didn't get to that part. No, it's 3. There's the fucking Jordan Peele, dead like jazz singer that the one boy can see.
He's not a hormone monster.
He's not a hormone monster, but he's still an imaginary character that only one character can see. Then there's the hormone monster that the other boy can see, but then sometimes the first boy can also see the hormone monster. And then there's the girl hormone monster who can't be seen by the boys but can only be seen by the girl. That's fucking way too fucking confusing.
Just wait till next season then.
It's totally a fucking mess of a show.
I love it. I think it's a great way to explain puberty and growing up in high school to kids. Like, I can't wait to show it to my kids when they go through puberty. Like, watch this. Don't watch the shit in school. Watch this. This is accurate.
That's not the show's not appropriate for children going through puberty.
I think it would be a wonderful experience to show someone going through puberty that show, to have something so authentic and real, and it's legit. Like, the show is fairly like legit. Like, it is like one of those times, like they do things you're just like, wow, they went there. But it's kind of nice they actually went there.
Oh, I mean, their legal team must be very, very precise on exactly what they can and can't get away with.
Yeah, or show and what they can't show and how much like boy dick they can show, if they can show any boy dick,
What they have shown and done is just like, I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. But obviously, I will trust that Netflix knows what they're doing in terms of not breaching any rules. It's a hard TV MA, obviously. So it's like it's meant to be.
It is real hard.
Yeah.
The writing is hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the actual screenplays are like the screenplays at times I'm just kind of like, can you say that? Like,
yeah.
I guess you can get away with that. Like, I like how the final episode of the first season, they're practically like, let's just do a TV show where we push the boundaries of puberty and say shit we can't say that's practically child porn.
Yeah, I don't. How do you stretch that out into like a 5 or 6 or 10 season show?
I don't think it's gonna be 10 seasons.
Well, yeah, okay, fine, but other animated shows have done it. Obviously, they want that kind of longevity. Family Guy's in what, season 15, 16? South Park? I mean, like, animated shows last that long, but animated, like, South Park's about a bunch of 10-year-olds. The fact that they're all 10 doesn't, like, factor into what the show can or can't deal with. But if the entire show has to be about puberty, like, you're gonna run out of shit to say. It feels like they're already incredibly redundant, like, and there's in the like 3 episodes of the second season that I even watched. I'm like, how much more can you really extract from this one topic?
They did a good job with the second season, like extracting more. They brought in a shame monster or a shame wizard played by David Tennant, and it introduces shame into their lives for doing all of these lewd and crude and totally rude acts. Because I think you are right. There isn't an endless mine there to mine.
No, they've already run out. Like, there was barely a season's worth of content there. Can you at least agree? And I like Jordan Peele. I think he's interesting as a voiceover actor. But can you at least agree that there's no that character adds nothing to the show and is bizarre in a show that already has so many.
Duke Ellington, the ghost of Duke Ellington, I don't really care for much, and I think Jordan Peele really doesn't add too much to the show sometimes. I think there are a few characters that I've actually been like, oh, that's Jordan Peele, and that's a pretty funny character. But it feels weird sometimes with Jordan Peele because his voice is... Nick Kroll makes sense because his character is Nick Kroll, right? Like a child version of Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
But no one else is playing like a child version of themselves, really. Except maybe Jenny, I think, whatever her name is. I can't remember. The redhead.
Jenny Slate?
No, because she plays Misty or something. But the redhead...
Jenny Slate
I think
plays the black girl, right?
Yeah.
Which is wrong, morally. You can't cast a white girl as a black girl. That's offensive.
She plays the mixed race child, you know.
Mixed race. Well, Jenny Slate's not mixed race, though. Maybe she is. All I know is that when I found out Chris Evans was dating her, I lost what little respect I'd already had for Chris Evans. No offense.
You lost so much respect for Chris Evans. It's insane.
I really just I'm so glad he's done. I hope Captain America dies.
He's not done. He's not done. You wait. The first Wolverine film that comes out for Marvel Cinematic Universe, the first MCU Wolverine movie, will have a flashback to World War II, and as a cameo, Chris Evans will show up as Steve Rogers, as Captain America, in one of the montage sequences, right? We're going to see a montage that we didn't see in the montage sequence, which will involve probably Wolverine doing some shit with Logan.
All I'm saying is
doing some shit with Steve.
All right, you're getting off topic. All I'm saying is you work out that much and make that much money through your Marvel contracts, and the prize is a hot slice of Jenny Slate. Something's not adding up there. Something's not adding up.
So wait, wasn't the blind item on this? He got her pregnant, and that was the whole reason why.
How do you get someone pregnant, Ballard?
You know what you do? You masturbate into a condom, and then you throw that condom in the garbage can, and then those little rats show up with their little rat women fingers, and they take the condom and they squirt it into their vaginas, and they make it a baby.
The NBA defense.
Yeah, that's the NBA defense. Can you imagine? She took the condom and squirted it into her vagina. It wasn't me. I didn't fuck her.
Who was it? Phil Jackson? It was some famous coach who was like, first rule, you flush the condom. You flush it.
May have been. That sounds like a Phil Jackson-y thing. Oh, we need our fucking sports almanac Noli. Unfortunately, he is what, Felk?
I don't know. Done with the podcast, possibly.
Dead with AIDS. Dead with AIDS. Dead with AIDS. That's right. Alex Trebek would have said the answer is, what is dead with AIDS?
AIDS jokes aren't funny. I mean, they are sometimes.
I love the Subway Jared AIDS jokes from South Park.
Boy, do they have a different context now.
They totally do.
I kind of laugh every time I see a Subway commercial because this is like...
Me too.
You're so desperate now. Please associate us with sandwiches. We make sandwiches.
Subway, man.
We didn't hide horrible things.
Subway took a beating with that, too. I'm not entirely sure, but allegedly, wasn't Subway, like...
Oh, yeah,
didn't it come out that they knew to some extent something was up?
They knew.
Allegedly?
They knew, yeah, they knew. It's Subway. I mean, if you want moral integrity, a sleazy, greasy sandwich manufacturer is not really one to do. Have you ever been to a Subway that didn't have a homeless person sleeping in it?
Yes.
They're cesspools. I haven't.
Well, okay. Keep in mind, I live in like a very beautiful area of our gorgeous state of California that doesn't have too high of a homeless count.
Yeah, I live in LA. What the fuck were you talking about? The car accident?
What was your first car accident? You were driving.
Yeah, I was unfamiliar with the female like persuasion technique. I mean, kind of, but I had been insulated by about 2 years and hadn't dealt with what I was about to experience, which is that I got rear-ended mid-traffic. Traffic was really bad. I think it was because of a car accident up ahead, trying to get out of the deep part of Houston. Anyways, I pull over and I could see that the car is being driven by a woman. Looks like she's in her 20s. I'm 16. She's pretty. So I'm like, oh, pretty girl. And I could see
like 10 scale pretty.
Houston has a lot of hot women. I would say 6 to 7. You know, that's a generous 6, a not great 7. But like when you're 16, that's something special, especially when you don't see girls every day. And I could see that she was just like not pulling over. So I honk, and she pulls over, and then just because of the car accident ahead, a cop car like rolls by and it's like, exchange information, bye, and then he just drives off.
He yells that out the window?
He yells that out because I was like, are you not stopping? You have to stop. We have to get out. And she's like, I'm in a hurry. Immediately, all this anger and entitlement starts being just spewed at me, where all I'm trying to do is just respectfully be like, hey, I have my insurance card. You know, like it's my parents' insurance. I'm 16. I have my insurance card. You're supposed to give me your insurance information. I looked older than I probably was at the age. And of course, I've had this deep voice since I was like puberty. So she probably didn't read me as 16. And she was just very much like, it was like that flirt aggression. Like, hey, I'm super sorry. I need to go. But like, is it okay? Is it cool? But I'm in a hurry. I have to. It was like I'd never been lambasted like this by like 2 separate cannons, like a hot cannon and a cold cannon all at once. And I was just like, I didn't know how to deal with this.
So you were at strip clubs. Ew, strip clubs.
You do get that. You do get that used in sales pitches occasionally, but man. It's for me that does not work anymore at all. You did it immediately.
Oh
like,
no, it
what
never
are you,
works.
a cheapskate? What are you, a cheapskate? You can't afford me. Like,
yeah,
honey, you fucked up. Go try that shit on the incels. That ain't me.
Yeah. On top of that, it just goes to show kind of the shallowness of the character. That like, okay, so for you, your looks skate you by, and to some extent, so you use this. This is obviously a go-to you've gone to. So your frustration here is that it's not working on me.
Her argument basically was, traffic's really bad. I have to be somewhere. I'm in a hurry. That was the only reason I hit you. I don't have time to give you my insurance information. It wasn't even a car accident. It doesn't even look like you have damage. And there really wasn't damage. There really wasn't.
What kind of
too
road
much.
was this? Boulevard Avenue?
This is a freeway.
What was
big
it?
big old freeway.
This is
We're
on
off
a
on the
freeway?
freeway. Everything's going very slowly though. Cars are just moving by at a gradual pace. We're off on the shoulder. Safe.
Not a highway, but a freeway.
But a big old freeway with just daylight, middle of the day on a Saturday. 1,000 eyes just driving by constantly. So it's not like there's any isolation or sketchiness. Cop cars keep going by because they're all going to that big accident up ahead. So I'm like, you have to give me your insurance information. You can't drive away. I know your license plate. And she goes, whoa, like that. All the flirtiness, it was all cold cannon from that point on. All the flirtiness was gone. It was like, but I don't have to give you my insurance because there wasn't any damage. And it was like, but you definitely hit me, so you have to give me your insurance. Like it was very much like my excuses are good enough to just, hey, let's just strike this one from the record because I was in an emotional state right now.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
And I'm going to lump this in with another car accident that I had just like a month later, where it was Christmas shopping madness. I'm in like the parking lot of a Best Buy. Everybody's crazy getting in and out of the Best Buy. There's a Comp USA and there's a Hobby Lobby and all kinds of shit. And people are buying shit. It's just anarchy because it's Christmas shopping madness. And I'm trying to get out of that Best Buy parking lot, probably having bought some hot, sweet Mac OS software or some shit. Still 16, and a Best Buy employee, also a girl, rear ends me. And she also tries the whole, I was on the phone, so I didn't see you. Why didn't you move? And I'm like, because there's a car in front of me. You still rear ended me. Like, no, I have to go to work. And I'm like, well, you seem like you're leaving work. She's like, I have to get to work. I have to go. Like I'm in a hurry. I was on a phone. I'm having a big emotional day. Yeah. This car accident didn't happen. You just need to be cool with it. It taught me a lot about dealing with women. And when I moved into college and had all of a sudden go from having no girls around me to just girls everywhere, I definitely had to think about, like, remember, they'll think that their emotions mean that they just win sometimes. Mm-hmm. And don't let that deter you when you know that the rules are the rules and you need to play by the rules. And I've done pretty happily with that with that advice that I kind of taught myself. The world really taught me through those 2 car accidents. Had my bumper not been, both times there was like little to no damage, but there was damage to my viewpoint on the concept that people are good and will do the right thing in a tense scenario. No, people will try to get out of it, and if they're women, they'll use womanly excuses. If they're men, they'll I probably would have been receiving way more of just a over the top aggro. It's your fault, man. I've experienced that too from guys.
That's human nature, and that's not isolated to one group. That's everyone. Everyone uses that. That's a form of survival in today's society. And you're damn right. And like, I didn't learn that through car accidents, but I learned that through watching friends in college and their relationships with some of their girlfriends. And it taught me a lot. Like I watched I watched men and women both utilize, the emotions, let's just call it, I have more emotions, so I win the fight type of scenario.
Yeah.
I've seen that in multiple people, and it was something I learned right away, and it was something that was very prominent in my process in life of dating. Like, I never wanted to be with anybody who acted that way. If you ultimatumed me or did the idea of like I'm crying, therefore I win.
Yeah.
Or I will cry to win this fight.
Yes.
Like, immediately to me, that's the least attractive thing you could do for me. It doesn't matter anything else to me. It's just immediately I have no attraction to that. I'm not attracted to you if you act like that. And one of the greatest things that I found when I found my wife was I found someone who like equally detested that nature and never presented anything along those lines. And so we've been like wonderful ever since, because I've always kind of considered my wife as the antithesis of my own expectations of what I thought my relationships would be, and that's one of my favorite things about it, about my relationship with her and being with her, is that she is the opposite of my expectation of women, and I love her so much for it.
Oh, that's a very sweet sentiment, and I'm glad that you found the light in that darkness. And
I love her. I love her.
Yes, indeed.
I don't care who knows it.
Yeah, well, that's jump on the couch, shake Oprah. Mm-hmm. Let her know. Let Oprah know really hard how much you love.
I love the Tom Cruise meme where he's doing the Emperor lightning, force lightning, the dark lightning on the dark force on Oprah when he's jumping all over the couch.
That was in MySpace where the memes happened. Well, Ballard, bringing us to a close, our final exciting accident story. What would be your first behind the wheel car accident story?
We obviously aren't going to go over every single one of them because there's no reason to. But I've dinged cars here and there, and been able to finagle my way in and out of situations enough to like not have to ever get screwed over. Never get into a serious car accident either, knock on wood, which has been wonderful. But my first car accident would be a fender bender, very similar, I guess to yours, Felk. I was in Mountain View, California, and I had just gotten off the freeway, and it was not me fucking around. It wasn't, didn't have a car full of boys, and we were all going to the volleyball nets to go play topless with some oil. Like, none of that was happening. It was just me alone in the car driving to Tower Record. Or Tower Records, excuse me. Playing with the boys. Ha 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 ha. I love how that song begins. Anyway,
moving in some motion.
Moving in some motion.
Yeah.
Feels so good. Body's working overtime. Knock, knock, knocking on wood. Right?
Oh,
it's
man against man is my favorite lyric, because that's just like that's come
man
on.
Against man is
that's not fucking accidental.
Cool Boy Nation is just as a reminder. You want to hear any more about this song? Listen to any episode where we talk extensively on Tom Cruise. But I will point out, just because this is an episode about young baby boy Ballard and such, this is my mom's favorite song, and it's her ringtone. Playing with the Boys is her ringtone for her children. So anytime one of her 3 boys calls her, this ringtone plays immediately. And she thinks it's sweet because it reminds her of her boys. It has no homoerotic, tendencies whatsoever attached to it.
Ballard's mom, if you're listening, that song's about gay sex. That whole movie's about gay sex.
So that being said, I'm driving in my mom's car, and I am, just off the freeway heading towards Tower Records, and I just simply looked down at the radio just to change tune the station to a different station, and I just rear-end this guy who at the green light should have gone, and he didn't go, and it's a fender bender. It's super tiny. There's barely a mark on my mom's car, and there's barely a mark on his car. And he, I'm talking to him. I'm freaking out. I'm like, please, whatever you do, just don't tell my mom. Don't call my house. Like, here, call this phone number instead of my house line, please. If you need to reach me, because I had my own line. Just kind of, I was freaking out. I didn't want my mom to know that, like, I got into a little fender bender. And the guy was like, hey, it looks like nothing. There's a 5 mile per hour bumper, compression, and if you hit, over 5 miles per hour, usually everything's fine. If you hit under 5 miles per hour, it's fine. If it hit over, they'll have to probably replace the bumper. And I don't even know if the guy was like being honest or fucking with me, but I was just like, okay. So I was like crossing my fingers, just like hoping this guy takes it, into the shop. There's no 5, mile per hour bumper compression thing going on. So I exchange information because I'm not gonna break the law. I'm gonna handle it, but I'm just not gonna tell my mom. And he never calls us. He never calls me, and because there was never an issue. I guess it was fine. It was just those slight marks on his bumper, but that was about it. Very slight. And I was panicking for like maybe a month, waiting for this phone call to show up that never showed up. And after a month went by, I went, okay, he's obviously not coming back. So I was able to get away, and I never told my mom about it. But, so Mom, unless you're listening to this, you still don't know.
The Cool Boys podcast should not be listened to by any moms.
Mm-mm.
If you're listening, don't.
Unless you're my wife.
Just don't. What?
My wife loves us. She thinks I'm
kind of, yeah, I mean, I guess you, I mean, obviously you just professed your love to her on our podcast, so it's like there's plenty of things you'd love for her to hear.
Gay.
But there's other things. Is that Nolan? Nolan, are you here?
No, that's me. Well, I guess before we wrap up, do you have any other cool accidents that happened in your life or anything like that?
Oh, just others that
like just a cool accident or a cool accident story. I mean, this is the only time we're gonna have this conversation, so might as well wrap it all up into one last thing. If you have anything left to say.
No, another was with a weird Chinese immigrant who. Definitely was when I was in college. Was definitely trying to.
Felk, I got another beer ready to go, and I just finished my second. I am ready for this Chinese immigrant college driving story accident. Yes, you were absolutely telling me this.
I was just down in Orange County, and like the only accident that I've ever had that was my fault. And the guy was like basically just like saying like, I will tell police you're drunk. I can't do accents, so they're all like they all sound like
don't do
like
them
Lindsay
then.
Lohan trying to do a fucking Arabic accent.
You shouldn't make all your accents Lindsay Lohan.
Come with me. No, like so yeah, he had a Chinese accent. It was like a weird. It was like a situation where like it was his sister's car and he was only in the country, and he was just like saying that like it was hard to understand what he was saying. He was just like he kept yelling that he would. That he wanted money, and that he would tell the police I was drunk if I didn't give him money. And I'm like, I'm a college student. I have like $7 on me right now. So I just like, here's my parents' number, and my dad's a lawyer, and he got the call. I was like, oh, I'm a lawyer, and the guy was like, goodbye.
Well, you're happy. I'm happy they didn't turn out the wrong way. Like having your parents get kidnapped in a hostage situation because you gave this villain, this criminal, a potential number and access to them. Like you have no idea who this guy was. He could have been a criminal.
Well, I was in California and they were safely in Texas. I didn't think considering
safely in Texas, not too far from the border
of China.
How far is Houston from the border? To the border of China, yeah.
The guy was Chinese.
I love that China's at our southern border.
Yeah, so he was from China. So Yeah, no, not close to Texas by any measure of space. And I mean,
Close enough.
yeah, I mean, relative to the distance to the sun, perhaps Texas is very close to China.
China is a state of being. It's a feeling in your heart, and you can bring it anywhere you go. That's what Disney tells me.
China is fast becoming who decides what movies are successful and not successful. Looking at you, Star Wars.
Felk, I'm thinking about moving to China.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to China. China is on the up and up. I'm going to expatriate out of here and fucking go to China.
Yeah, you'll be
live in Hong
welcomed.
Kong.
You'll be welcomed. They're a very welcoming community to outsiders.
I saw Skyscraper, okay? I know they are, okay? The Rock was clearly welcomed.
Skyscraper set in
It's in
China?
Hong Kong.
Oh, really? That's
Hong
okay.
Kong, but yes.
Yeah, Hong Kong is like its
Yes
own
and
special
no.
thing.
Hong Kong is China now.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're listening to this in the 90s, it wasn't then.
No.
But if you're listening to this now, Hong Kong is China. In 10 years from now, who the fuck knows, honestly, where Hong Kong is? It could be fucking hanging out in Hawaii for all we know.
That's actually my... even though it's his worst movie, I think that's probably one of my favorite Pierce Brosnan lines, because I like when Bond gets like involved in like modern politics.
Yeah.
Because he's doing that the Chinese intelligence guy when he's in Hong Kong after he just escaped off that ship because he was being questioned, you know, in the opening of Die Another Day, and the Chinese
yeah,
the Chinese guys
Not
like
Die Another Day.
it's not another
Wait,
day.
Die Another Day?
Yeah, it's not another day. Remember, because he gets captured and tortured for years.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tomorrow Never Dies because that's the Chinese Bond. But okay, yeah, Die Another Day. I see what you're saying.
There's also because he goes to Hong Kong, he stays at a hotel, walks in with the beard, and he gets like all trimmed and everything, and then that one chick's like,
yep,
like gonna fuck him, but then she's actually a spy, and there's a spy, like I think his name is Yao or Chow or something. He's like, Hong Kong is our territory now, Mr. Bond, and Pierce Bond is like, yeah, well, I'm not here to take it back. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Wow.
That was a very Connery. That's a very Connery line where he's just like, I'm doing my own shit. I'm Bond. God damn it! Quit trying to fuck with me like I'm just some government stooge. I'm more than that because he's Bond.
Quick Bond tangent. Quick Bond sidebar real quick.
All right.
How much percentage of Connery and Moore and Lazenby, if you want, is Pierce's Bond?
No, 0% Lazenby. I would say you're missing the key one. You need to watch those goddamn movies. I'd say 40% Dalton. 40% Connery. 20% Moore.
Ooh. Wow. So the Dalton's fucking me up.
And that 20% more is the later movies, the latter movies. There's a lot of Dalton in his Bond.
Yeah. The Die Another Days. The World Is Not Enough.
Everyone forgets that GoldenEye was written for Dalton.
Interesting. Okay, well then Craig, how many percentages of Bond, Lazenby, Moore, and Dalton is Craig? I see honestly is like almost 80% Connery, and then maybe 20 or 19% Lazenby, and then 1% Moore. Because I haven't seen Dalton movies.
He is, let's say, 33% Sean Connery. Let's say another 33.3 repeating percent Matt Damon's interpretation of Jason Bourne, just grafted onto James Bond.
Kind of, yeah.
And
it is. It's the same stunt. It's the same stunt team, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit of, I guess. There's a little bit of Jack Ryan in there, but I don't know what like visual interpretation. He's not Bond as we knew him. He's the book Bond maybe, but like cinematic Bond, they just dropped all that shit.
Craig's Bond, not just in novel form. I really think he's very Connery-esque.
He's more Connery than any previous Bond. This is the weirdest fucking episode we've ever done.
I love it.
He's more Connery than any other Bond.
Car crashes.
He's more Connery than any other Bond, but he's there's as much Jack Bauer in him as there is Roger Moore.
No, I disagree. No, he's not Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer was literally like not going to lay his own life down on the line. Jack Bauer was going to lay your life down on the line.
Jack Bauer constantly is trying to lay his own life on the line. It just never works because the TV show requires him to not die.
Yes, but he's constantly throwing other people in front of him. Like, okay, second season, first episode, he cuts the dude's head off.
He tries to sacrifice himself on a regular basis. That's how the first season ends. He's going to sacrifice himself.
He let Xander Berkeley fly the plane. He literally is going to fly the plane, and Xander Berkeley's like, no, Jack, let me do it. I'm going to die anyways.
He has to force him by stowing away. Jack says, no, I don't trust you because you might not go through with it or you might die on the way. He's constantly trying to lay down his own life. But no, my point is...
Oh, that's right. And he parachutes out. That's right.
They made the Q relationship. Q used to just make gadgets for Bond. He gives him to Bond. Then he goes the fuck out and stays in his cabin or stays in like at MI6 or wherever. But they took the Q relationship with Bond and made that Jack and Chloe. And now he's the guy on the phone giving him advice as of Skyfall, and then to a lesser degree, but still in
but that's Q now.
That's not Q.
That's the reality of Q's role in modern day society espionage, though, right? I mean, there really is. I mean, otherwise Q would be like a random intern that says like, "Hi, here's the tech. You know, here's the instruction manual. You can find the rest here on this PDF file. Goodbye." That
should be it. That should have been the relationship. I'm just saying that they ripped off Chloe and Jack to make Q work in the modern age, and that's where the Bauer influence hits when I think of Daniel Craig's Bond. I think of that more than I think honestly of the previous, especially like more and backwards.
Okay, so if Q was not, a young kid, but played by, like, say, someone like Ben Mendelsohn, like an older, like, gruffier role, would you have liked that? Like someone that's kind of like showing that they are already at the end of their career, like that kind of perspective?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with a young Q either. I think that, like,
because Ben Winshaw, I like his Q. Like, I really like Ben Winshaw.
I do too. I don't really think of him as Q. It's definitely like young Q, but it's like our modern Q.
You're so young, you could have spots.
All right, let's just wrap this up. Well, that was the best fucking show topic we have ever done. Now it's time to end the shenanigans and get back to playing some Red Dead Redemption 2. We didn't talk about that, but I'm going to say it because that is what I am going to do.
No, there's a new document, and there literally was nothing written, so that's fine.
Well, that is what I'm going to do, is go play some Red Dead 2. Maybe not too much of it because it's getting late.
Me too.
Cool Boy Nation, tell us about any of your funny or interesting car accident stories. Also, if you have any questions or any more insight into our car accidents, then let us know by emailing us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. New episodes of the Cool Boys Podcast come out every Tuesday, regardless of if there's a serious car accident that week.
Woo!
Be sure to like and car accidents, nor snow, nor rain, nor sleet, nor anything except an internet outage will not prevent us from creating a Cool Boys podcast.
No way, because remember we've done episodes literally on the road while I was driving. Nothing. As long as we can get a phone call together, we will have an episode every single week.
Well, yeah, so an EMP. We're vulnerable to EMPs. Don't let them know, though.
That's about it.
Don't let the anti-Cool Boy people know.
Don't let the Chinese know, especially.
Yeah, they have that technology. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys. Also, please review us on iTunes. Also, donate to us on Patreon. It only costs $1, and you'll receive special access to content too hot to air. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boys Central content with Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, YouTube, and Patreon. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk.
And that's Byzies from
You upstanding American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn silly. Get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by...
I'm just going to cut after Ballard. And it's Byzies from Nolan.
And that's Byzies from Nolan. Maybe someday I'll stop having AIDS.
AIDS is hilarious. I'm Nolan. I think I get away with making fun of people with AIDS because I'm handsome.
He's too handsome. The problem is Nolan is really handsome. Cool Boy Nation, I'm not kidding. when my wife has friends over and they see photos of Nolan that I have up on the wall around my house, like they're just like, "Who's this man?" and when can I meet him? And I'm always like, that's my Nolan, and you can't meet him. He's mine, and he's mine only.
Do you really have photos of Nolan around your house?
Get some
Cool
so serious.